They have no eyes, yet they sense light. No ears, yet they respond to sound. No brain, but they navigate, decide, and defend. They are sea urchins, ancient, spiny beings that have quietly shaped the ocean for 500 million years. In tide pools, coral reefs, and deep-sea canyons, sea urchins continue their silent march, performing vital ecological roles that few ever see or appreciate. Their story begins in the depths of time. This phylum is characterized by radial symmetry, a water vascular system, and calcareous skeletons. Sea urchins are members of the phylum Echinodermata, a group of exclusively marine animals that also includes starfish, brittle stars, feather stars, and sea cucumbers. Fossil evidence reveals that sea urchins first emerged during the Ordovician period, more than 450 million years ago. Regular sea urchins, like the purple sea urchin and long-spined black urchin, are typically round and radial in shape, with the mouth on the underside and the anus on top. These plates are arranged in a precise pattern of 5-part symmetry, known as pentaradial symmetry, that defines nearly all echinoderms. Some are thin and needle-like, while others are thick, blunt, or even club-shaped. This intricate structure consists of 5 calcium carbonate teeth that constantly grow and sharpen themselves through use. With it, sea urchins can scrape algae from rocks, drill holes into coral, and consume a wide variety of foods. These spines serve as protection from predators, aid in locomotion, and help in burrowing. This has been observed in several coastal ecosystems, where overfishing or the loss of natural predators like sea otters and lobsters has triggered population explosions. Their constant scraping helps prevent algal overgrowth, keeping reefs and rocky shores in ecological balance. Some urchins can digest tougher plant matter that other grazers avoid, such as calcified red algae. Without kelp, biodiversity crashes. The role of sea urchins as both keystone herbivores and potential ecosystem wreckers shows the delicate balance of ocean ecology. The flower urchin, for instance, can deliver an intensely painful sting through its pedicellarian tiny claw-like structures that act like snapping jaws. These can inject neurotoxins and have been known to cause numbness, swelling, and even temporary paralysis in humans. Adults fall prey to triggerfish, pufferfish, lobsters, and sea otters. And algae, using tube feet and pedicellaria to attach materials that both conceal it and shield it from UV radiation. During this time, it is highly vulnerable to predation and environmental stress. One of their most dangerous predators is the sunflower sea star, which can envelop an urchin with its arms and digest it from the outside in. From that point, it begins a slow but steady life on the seabed, grazing and growing. During spawning events, often synchronized with lunar cycles or seasonal cues, hundreds of urchins release sperm and eggs into the water column. Researchers are exploring how urchins repair tissues, resist cancer, and maintain cellular integrity for decades, of which may offer insights into human health and longevity. For over a century, they've been used to study embryonic development, fertilization, and cell division. To address this, some communities have begun farming urchins in controlled environments, called urchin ranching, to meet demand without destroying wild stocks. These efforts are showing signs of success in places like California and New Zealand, where ecosystems are beginning to recover. They have endured volcanic eruptions, asteroid impacts, and ice ages, adapting slowly over the millennia. But the threats of today warming seas, ocean acidification, and biodiversity loss pose unprecedented challenges. Countries like Japan, Chile, and the United States export tons of sea urchin roe every year. Their large, icily manipulated eggs and transparent larvae make them ideal for observation. If fertilization occurs, the resulting zygote quickly divides and forms a planktonic larva known as a pluteus. This directly impacts urchins, which rely on calcium carbonate to build and maintain their skeletons and spines. Studies have shown that in more acidic conditions, larvae develop deformities and slower growth rates. Irregular sea urchins, such as sand dollars and heart urchins, show bilateral symmetry and have adapted to life buried beneath the sediment. They can regrow spines, tube feet, and even parts of their internal organs. Their quiet, determined presence reminds us that even the smallest, most overlooked creatures can have an outsized impact. Some studies suggest that certain urchin species may have negligible senescence, showing no clear signs of aging, even as they reach 30 or more years of age. So they may feed on detritus, decaying organisms, or slow-moving invertebrates. In extreme cases, such as during food scarcity, some species become opportunistic cannibals, consuming smaller or weaker individuals. That means they have survived 5 mass extinctions, countless climate shifts, and the rise and fall of entire continents. These are extensions of the water vascular system, a unique hydraulic system that operates using seawater pumped through canals. These barrens can stretch for miles, hosting little more than swarming urchins and bare stone. The tube feet are equipped with suction cups, allowing the urchin to move, grip surfaces, sense its environment, and even manipulate objects. The earliest urchins were more flattened and irregular than the spherical varieties we commonly see today. Modern sea urchins fall into 2 broad groups, regular and irregular. The outer shell of a sea urchin, called a test, is a rigid, globe-shaped structure composed of fused calcium carbonate plates. On the surface of the test are movable spines, varying in size and shape depending on the species. Between the spines are hundreds to thousands of small, flexible appendages called tube feet. At the very center of the underside lies the mouth, surrounded by a complex jaw mechanism known as Aristotle's lantern. Most sea urchins are herbivorous, grazing primarily on microalgae, kelp, and seaweed. Others, however, are omnivorous or even scavengers. Where food is abundant and predators are scarce, sea urchins can become overly dominant. Unchecked, these urchins devour entire kelp forests, transforming lush underwater jungles into rocky deserts known as urchin barrens. Kelp forests are not just scenic, they provide food and shelter for hundreds of species, from sea snails and fish to seals and sea lions. Despite their tough exterior, sea urchins have many predators. Juveniles are consumed by crabs, wrasses, and anemones. To defend themselves, some species have evolved specialized spines that are venomous. Many urchins also use camouflage. Collector urchin, for example, covers itself in shells, rocks. Reproduction in sea urchins is external. Most are dioecious, meaning individuals are distinctly male or female. Fertilization is a game of chance. Millions of gametes are released to increase the odds of success. The Pluteus larva looks nothing like an adult urchin. It is transparent, fragile, and free-swimming, feeding on microscopic algae and drifting with ocean currents for weeks. Eventually, the larva settles to the ocean floor and undergoes metamorphosis, reorganizing its body into the classic 5-rayed shape of the adult. Sea urchins are known for their regenerative powers. The remarkable biology has made sea urchins important models in scientific research. In modern biology, urchins have contributed to discoveries in gene regulation, developmental biology, and aging. Sea urchins are also economically significant. Their reproductive organs, called uni, are a delicacy in sushi cuisine and fetch high prices on the global market. However, overfishing has led to population collapses in many areas. In some regions, divers are hired to manually remove invasive urchins from degraded reefs, allowing kelp forests to regenerate naturally. Sea urchins are both ancient relics and modern survivors. Ocean acidification, caused by the absorption of atmospheric CO, reduces the availability of carbonate ions in seawater. Yet despite these dangers, sea urchins continue to thrive in many corners of the ocean. From the polar seas to tropical reefs, from the shallow tide pools to the dark abyss, sea urchins remain one of the ocean's most fascinating architects, builders, destroyers, survivors, and teachers. Their story is not just one of evolution, but of resilience, mystery, and importance, a story still unfolding beneath the waves.